All right, everybody. Hey, thank you, and welcome to our first and most exciting town hall. My name is Elizabeth Stevens, and I'm running for Tennessee's 5th District. Welcome to our official campaign kickoff town hall. Before I tell you why I'm running for Congress, I want to tell you who I am. I am a mother. I'm an Uber driver who knows what it means to work 40 hours a week and still feel like you're falling behind. I'm the founder of a cybersecurity firm, and I'm a combat decorated Marine aviator. In the Marine Corps, I flew the Osprey. I was awarded the Single Mission Air Medal for flying missions overseas to secure the nation's democratic elections. My entire adult life has been defined by one mission: protect. Protect. I used to protect people in the aircraft, but today the threat looks different. Today, protection means securing the economy that feeds your family, the hospitals that care for your kids, and the data that runs your life. And that is why I'm running for Congress. We live in a fragile world right now. Career politicians have spent the last decade fighting on cable news to protect their own egos while leaving our front doors completely vulnerable. That's our digital front doors as well as our physical front doors. When you measure the economy by the stock market, Wall Street looks great, but the working class Tennesseans don't measure the economy by the Dow and Jones. We measure it by the cost of groceries, by the cost of rent, and by the cost of gas. We don't need politicians who panic when the red lights flash. We need leaders who have been tested in the fire. We need to build a resilient Tennessee. Tonight, I want to talk about the 3 specific ways we're going to do that. That's 3 separate pillars: economic resilience, healthcare security, and democratic integrity. Yeah, I said it. So first, economic resilience. We are currently feeling the pain of inflation every time we walk into the grocery store in Davidson or Maury County. Why? Because for decades, politicians allowed corporate monopolies to offshore our manufacturing and stretch our supply chains until they were broken. When global disruption happens, Wall Street gets a bailout and Main Street gets a price hike. But what are we going to do? What is our actual fix? We're going to bring essential manufacturing back to the United States. We're going to secure our supply chain so that the crisis halfway across the world doesn't double the price of milk in Tennessee. We're going to stop letting out-of-state private equity firms hoard our single-family homes, and we're going to build an economy that rewards work, not just wealth. Second, healthcare security. As a cybersecurity expert, this is what keeps me up at night. Right now, rural hospitals and healthcare networks across Tennessee are increasingly vulnerable to ransomware attacks by foreign hackers and digital syndicates. The digital syndicates are effectively gangs who attack our infrastructure. This isn't just about stolen data, as they might have you believe, but this is about life and death. When a hospital is hacked, the ER shuts down. Ambulances have to be diverted. Patient care actually stops. We cannot leave our local hospitals to fight state-sponsored hackers alone. In Congress, I will introduce federal standards and direct funding to harden our healthcare infrastructure against cyber attacks and cyber criminals. Your family's medical care should never be held hostage by a digital ransom. Finally, democratic integrity. I risked my life in combat to ensure people halfway across the world had the right to vote in a secure, democratic election. I'll be damned if our own democratic system be undermined here at home. We must defend our elections from any interference. We must defend our elections from any interference. That means cyber interference. That means invalid voting. But integrity also means accountability. It means electing leaders who answer to the voters of District 5, not to the corporate PACs, not to the party bosses. It means passing my sovereign surety initiative to protect our veterans from predatory lending and deed fraud. It means returning the power to the people. The establishment wants us to believe that the system is just broken and there's nothing we can do. But the system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as it was designed by the people at the top. and it is absolutely failing us. I cannot fight this machine alone. I actually need you. If you do believe that it's time for Main Street to take power back from Wall Street, I need you to go to stevensfortennessee.com. If you haven't and you can, sign my petition to get me on the ballot. Chip in $5, $10, $20 right now. We don't take corporate PAC money, so every dollar fuels this grassroots movement. Sign up to volunteer. Every single one of us counts. Now, I had a couple of questions come through, and I'll pause to double check the Facebook Live, the Facebook comments. So the first question is, how does cyber actually affect the blue collar worker? Okay, so technically, the blue collar workers are the most affected by a cyber attack. For example, when a power grid goes down, or a logistics company gets hacked and paychecks bounce, or a hospital goes offline, working class people suffer the most because they don't have a financial safety net to fall back on. Cyber is absolutely a working class issue. When I was at Microsoft in about 2016, at that time, it was the greatest cyber Azure outage of all time. How far we've come. It was day 2 of the war room, where we were all surrounded by people that felt like they were doing the good work. They were just like we'd been in the military. We're on fire watch, trying to get all of the systems back up and running. And one of the gentlemen who I adore today, longtime Azure architect and a good friend, he said to me in a frustrated tone, which I absolutely understood, "Why are we here killing ourselves just so some kids can play Xbox?" And I was taken aback. Like, at that point, I turned to him and I said, "My customer is actually the women and children of Texas. Some young person, some young lady or some young man who'd promised themselves that they would never let their own children go hungry, had gone to the store and could not purchase food, could not purchase diapers, couldn't even purchase gas to go to work because of this Azure outage." That is a perfect example. The people that suffer the most from a cybersecurity outage are the people that are most disadvantaged. And that is why it's a working class issue. I'll go for the next question. How does my experience flying the Osprey prepare me for Congress? Okay. So those of you that know the Osprey, you know it has a storied and uncomfortable past. The Osprey itself is a complex and dangerous machine. Unlike the mighty Battle Frog and many of the airplanes that came before it, tilt rotor technology at the time was not mature. You have to process massive amounts of information under extreme pressure, just as the pilot, and you have to make life or death decisions to take care of your crew in an airplane that oftentimes made decisions on its own. I feel as if Washington, D.C. is even more now than before, absolutely chaotic. But it requires that same exact cool-headed, mission-first leadership to do the things that we need to do in order to help the people and to maintain our own integrity. And that's the kind of mission-first leadership that I would like to bring to Congress. Now, I'll pause for a few moments to see if anybody else has any questions. Say no questions at all. Questions coming in from Signal. Okay. You guys are definitely a quiet group. Definitively a quiet group. Okay, if there are no more questions, I would like to say the mission itself is about resilience. Right now, I expected a question about Iran. I expected a question about Israel. What I'll say about what's going on today and what's happening with people, no matter what, we need to support the men and women that are protecting the country. We need to support those who put themselves in harm's way, and we need to support the families here who have lost loved ones to this conflict. You'll have to ask a more difficult question for me to go any further on that. I know we are a quiet group tonight, and honestly, I completely understand that. It is a Tuesday night. Most of you probably just got off a long shift at work. You're probably trying to make dinner. You're trying to help the kids with their homework. And you're probably just flat out exhausted. That's the reality of what being a working class Tennessean is right now. We are tired. We are exhausted. And that's exactly why I'm running. You shouldn't have to work 40 or 50, and for some of you, 80 hours of just to keep your head above water. Stand by. Let me make sure I allow. Allow somebody else into the room. And I'll continue. We shouldn't have to work. Welcome, welcome. I think that's Nicholas Meanwhile. You shouldn't have to work 40 or 50 or 80 hours a week and still feel exhausted just trying to keep your head above water. You shouldn't have to fight this hard just to survive. So if you're out there listening right now, or you're in the background while you're trying to take care of your family, I'm going to say thank you. And I see you. I know exactly what that feels like. And I want to go to Washington to fight for you so you can finally catch a breath. Yeah. So I'm going to say thank you for those of you that joined me tonight. And I did answer some of the questions. I'll give our guest here an opportunity to ask questions if he would like as well, or just to chat since it's just us now. I'm going to say thank you to everyone else for joining me tonight. We do have a long fight ahead of us, and they have the money, they have the backing, they are the establishment, but we are the people. We have the grit, we have the truth, and we have each other. And I'm Elizabeth Stevens. I'm a mother, I'm a Marine, and I'm a fighter. So go to stevensfortennessee.com right now and chip in $5 and let's take our home back. Hello, Nicholas. So with that, I'm going to say, you got any questions, sir?
How can people best support the campaign right now?
The best way to support the campaign is to go ahead and get out there and get to the ActBlue page or the GoFundMe or the website and donate money. If you don't have money to donate, because a lot of us don't, then get out there and sign a petition. If you're in the local area, come on down and volunteer. If you're not in the local area, we can do hybrid events. We can talk to people where you are. If you want me to come to your location, I'm going to Atlanta next week on the 10th, and then I'll be in Tampa on the 17th doing this kind of tour, this kind of talk, because it won't just be Tennesseans and Tennessee 05 that win this race. It's going to take a lot of like-minded people, whether it's because you're military, whether it's because you just believe, or whether because you're tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's what you can do. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not important enough or you don't have enough money to make a difference. Reach out, tell everybody that you want to talk to, that you believe in, to come this way so that they can learn and decide whether or not they want to believe in me. Because regardless of what side of the fence you're on, regardless of what your past has been, I'm here for the people and not the system. And only together can we do this. That was a good question. That's a good question. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna shut this down tonight. And I hope to see you all out there, whether you're campaigning, politicking, volunteering, fighting the good fight, whether it's a cyber war or a physical one. Reach out and take good care of each other. Again, I'm Elizabeth Stevens. I'm a mother, I'm a Marine, and I'm a Maverick. Vote Elizabeth Stevens for Tennessee 05. Thank you.